Hello, and welcome to the Cubicorn Games Podcast. My name is Dustin Morbido. It is going to be a show today.
Always is.
And joining me to talk about video games and other such things, Lorraine Morbido is here.
It's too hot outside.
We've been grinding it
Heat
out,
dome
working on
the
stuff. It's like approaching 100 today.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow it's...
Pray for me.
Yeah, no kidding. Pray for Lorraine for real. She's got to work technically outside in that heat.
It is not an air-conditioned building.
Godspeed. As I always tell you, stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
But, and obviously to anybody else out there who has to work,
hydrate,
straight
or
up
you will
outdoors
dehydrate.
or in less ideal conditions of any kind.
The horses don't get to work. My colleagues.
Yeah, stay out of the heat if you can help it at all. But
If they throw retirement parties for the horses that we can attend, they're my colleagues. So they are. And they do.
You got to get horse benefits, clearly. Yeah. Carrot breaks and fresh shoes every couple of weeks or whatever.
Damn. Company shoes. I guess I have company pants, so shrug.
But yeah, we've been busy. Like I said, and as Lorraine described, it's been hot and shitty and very bleh for the most part. But we've been getting a lot of stuff done technically on the games front. It's been a little bit scattershot. I've been bouncing from thing to thing to thing to some degree.
A lot of solidifying back-end stuff like text and menus and finally changing the level select screen.
Yeah, the next build,
I'm so happy.
I hadn't thought a ton about, but let's just say it's going to drop sometime in August. Because that way we can kind of shove one out there.
Hell yeah.
Basically, as we're getting on the road to PAX West, probably.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. And again, especially considering I haven't had a ton of time to perfectly button up everything I've been currently working on. So yeah, I think that all
literally
tracks.
On the road.
So yeah, look out for that in a couple months here. Month and a half, month and change, month and a week.
Midway through
maybe.
July.
Yeah, right. I don't know. About a month. But yeah, we've done a nice little UI overhaul. So all the level select menus are looking more slick, slightly more functional. You can kind of see everything on screen now. Lorraine kind of pitched a change like that I think has worked out really well. Made slight tweaks to the other menus to both change the functionality a tiny bit and make them all ready for localization stuff.
Yeah, that was probably the more important part. Some of those menus had been untouched for
a decade.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah,
and so a lot of stuff needed to get pulled out and refactored as just different objects to make the localization as smooth on our end as physically possible. Just check this. I also broke the game at one point really well because of a new line in one of those things. That was exciting. I literally just could not run it in the editor. And I'm okay. So then we had to play hyper detective of well, why doesn't this work here, but it works on my machine? And then there was a cheeky little hidden new line that had gotten in there somehow, probably just text copying or whatever.
Like I said, I think it was me copying and pasting text from different files or something. But
new line. Then it's a new line. It's a parentheses. It's a semicolon. Those are the three sneaky horsemen of coding. Although 9 times out of 10 new lines don't really do anything. It just depends on text parsing. The other two, it'll probably yell at you before that happens, but those are the things that'll get you.
Got options menu stuff done, so that's working, I think, mostly how it will, and at least the initial shipped final product. That still needs a little more testing, but at least the baseline of various little settings and the stuff we discussed.
The settings suite, basically.
Yeah, putting in the final game, I believe, are stood up in some form, and again, all that stuff is kind of prepped for localization and the places where it needs text and stuff like that. I'm getting kind of back into level design a little bit, and we're getting into early prototyping for the Tower 7 boss fight.
Yeah, we just had a mini meeting about that before we...
Yeah, because that's one of the last pieces of really bespoke... it'll basically be that, and anything else we do in those platforming levels are kind of the last big pieces of bespoke gameplay.
Real content that
are kind of unbuilt right now, that are
requires
more
a full tile set,
than,
full animations, all that stuff.
More conceptual
the biggest,
than implemented.
Full project for me, aside from the story stuff, but making a single image is a lot different than making an entire sprite sheet. Trust me. I'm a doctor.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a doctor.
So
don't take medical advice from me.
That's going to be a process that, again, want to start sooner rather than later, just to get that wheel moving, ball rolling, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we'll kind of plan our roadmap for the next couple of weeks of what we're going to do pre-PAX, but decent amount of stuff we've knocked out. Decent amount of progress being made.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting on the game front. I've made a bunch of little, again, more small changes to Cucumber stuff to kind of hopefully fix a couple little errant bugs with some of his like
continuing to round corners,
stranger edge states,
smooth things out nicely.
And yeah, a little more functionality around the double charge stuff, which is slowly but surely coming together as well. I like how that's going to kind of play out in practice with like how abilities chain together and stuff like that. Slightly more dialed in on the dive strike kind of projectiles will interact with stuff, so hoping to build some more level stuff based on that. And Lorraine has done some really cool little, again, like art tidying up stuff. Of like,
it's been a while since we've actually, like, because we had that special episode last time, like, it's been a while since we've like sat down and like record, because the last one we did
from, like,
was also like more
on.
Destiny focused than this, and my brain got cooked like 2 weeks ago during the Heat Dome,
the original Heat Dome, Heat Dome Part 1. And just like a million little things like you implemented, I think in that time frame, the whole tile set for the layer level,
or at least the start of it.
It got stood up in the game in that time frame from the Destiny episode to now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. Like I said, that stuff's looking cool. And again, we've got that in there with a little piece of music and the art and the tile set in there, so it's looking and feeling more like it's going to feel in the final game as opposed to just like another one of the older levels that I just like kind of carve some geometry out for. I like the little skylight kind of thing, the little opening that you can exit from.
It's a burrow. It's underground.
I'm just saying it's a good touch. That a lot of stuff like that, a lot of little touches that you've made over the last couple of weeks that were not necessarily things that I would have focused on, that I do think they add up to be like every single one of them is an improvement. The menu stuff is an example of that. Like I might have just left it be.
Never.
But the new ones
I
are
hated
better.
that menu. I hated it so much. I'm so glad it's changed.
Yeah.
I was ready to die on that hill. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm. So we're going back and forth, I guess, between like spitting and polish stuff to get things, some things into like final, basically like shippable state, and some other things we're still working on, like spinning up initial stuff for like secret level content, stuff like that. So there's just a ton going on, and it's just like watching.
It was a lot of just like little tiny things, because like I did like some work for like his projectiles. I did some more work on like I think I talked about it the last time, the like universal secret door. It's got a
that's
whole
in
thing.
there now. That looks cool.
I did use. Did you look at the GIF I had done of it?
Yeah.
That was all eyeballed. Like I just like vibed where all the stuff fell, and I'm actually like really happy with it. Like that.
I gotta get that in the game still, but yes.
Well, no, but like, because I did it all and then like did the coloring, then watched it, and I was like, no, like this actually looks good just by like me vibing it and figuring it out. So like getting more of that innate ability, like I've noticed it a lot with like, I mean, it's one thing when it's like limbs of a guy, like you kind of know where that stuff goes, but more like particle-y effect things or like more natural, like it's just like an explosion kind of and gravity working on these things. Like I'm really happy with how that turned out.
Practice makes perfect.
And that was all just vibes.
No, I like it. Looks good. Stuff's coming along. Like I said, just a million little things, and it's been interesting rewatching that Double Fine documentary, the Psychonauts, Psych Odyssey one, which we'll talk about something related to that in a few moments here, probably. But but just watching that again,
I'm still really excited. We got to pick that up from them at PAX
we have it on
East,
Blu-ray from PAX East or whatever. But
that packaging is really nice, and it's cool to just have it physically.
Yeah, it's still another one of those things where like I'm comfortable where we are, for relatively speaking, but it's like, man, if we had one or two more people, just having even one other person to like delegate some stuff to, it's just a lot. Like I said, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, because I do think we're capable of it. It's just there are so many things to keep track of. We got so much stuff going
I think
on.
a lot of it is like kind of because of like how long we've been on this project and how like drawn out the whole thing is. Like I think now with like just experience and the like benefit of hindsight, we can parse things better with a new third project. We didn't start either of these games in the particularly smartest way to do it, but like now that we've just kind of had our trial and a half by fire of like just making games and like kind of learning and meeting a ton of other people who are also making games at the scale and just figuring out what people do, I think we'll be better about it, because like I'd be able to prototype stuff a lot faster. Like just in general, we could get like a more basic everything stood up a lot faster. I think we're finding our pipelines where like having another person would maybe do that a little bit quicker. I think we just have at least a little more knowledge to do it smarter next time.
Yeah, it's just it's a heck of a process, man. But like I said, we're slowly but surely getting there. So stay tuned for more Super Cucumber updates. We'll have more in the future. We are also bordering on that, like, we'll see how things go, I guess, over the next couple weeks, but I will, again, reserve the right to not quite podcast, potentially, if we're, like, really in the thick of something between now and PAX, because I really want to push to get that build in as good a shape as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so I guess you may not necessarily hear from us in the next couple of weeks, but if
at
you
least not like this.
on the in podcast form, but if you don't, and you want to hear more about the game, first of all, you can go to Steam and wishlist Super Cucumber, just search for it, and then there's a Discord link on that Steam page, and if you go there, you can check in on us. I'll definitely try to at least post an update if I don't post a podcast. Potentially post some other stuff in there as well when I fucking remember to. But yeah, we're coming along. It's going to be rocking and rolling, getting stuff done, continuing to grind.
Always be grinding.
But yeah, that's about it for our stuff, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the broader gaming industry, things are terrible. Everything is really fucking bad.
That's like every day, every headline is just, it's somehow worse than yesterday.
And again, I had been having conversations with people where I, said as much because it's the most easily readable thing in the world, right? Of like, the video game industry is going to continue to contract over the next months and years. But like, there's such a difference between like intellectualizing it, like kind of knowing it on paper,
and then seeing the actual fallout,
and then seeing the actual fallout, right? Of like all these people who have lost their jobs, and again, knowing that probably a non-insignificant amount of them will never work in games again. The
literal like knowledge base brain drain loss that's been happening over the past couple of years, not even just this year, is staggering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real mixed bag because again, and I have really personal conflicting feelings about it because on the one hand, in a lot of those cases, it's like if another swing and a miss live service product or two doesn't get made because of these layoffs, is anything lost to the universe? Like,
probably not, because
really.
They'll just pull the plug and you'll lose access to it anyway.
Yeah, but on the other hand, there's no reason that those people would have had to make those games, right? Other than like stubborn, short-sighted decision making from management and like maximum profit chasing at the expense of
everything.
This art form. To some degree. So it's just very sad and very frustrating and very confusing. And again, my opinions now that like the hammer has truly fallen at Bungie and that Destiny 2 is well and truly dead and that like a significant portion of that studio, I think in the neighborhood of 50% of their headcount is gone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone who was just working on Destiny either got very sparingly selected to work on Marathon or maybe something else within Sony, and everybody else just got shit canned.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel exactly the way I did in that other conversation now that it's even happened of like, man, it sucks that those people are gone. It sucks that they'll never get the chance to try to make any of this better or iterate on it again. But at the same time, I still think there's a lot of things about that product that are deserving of execution. Like I do want to play actually a little bit more of it because I haven't opted in like a week and a half probably.
I've been playing like maybe somewhere between 1 and 3 hours, like almost every night. It's such a like head empty thing for me. Like I'll go in, I'm like, oh, like because I'm still getting to like the power cap.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be one of my call outs for like, I can't fucking believe how awful this still is.
It's terrible.
And they like at some point expected people to do this like
forever,
every 6 months or every 3 months or whatever the hell it was. That it is absolutely psychotic.
At least now I just have to do it fucking once.
Yeah, and it feels long.
It's bad.
Like it would feel arduous, I think, for like an annual ask of people.
Because it's been just over a month since I started playing again after being gone for an entire calendar year, and everything I owned was set to 10 light. And as of this recording, I've just barely crested 480. Like, I think maybe my highest is 86.
Yeah.
And, like, I still have, like, not quite 100 more levels to go. Because it's, like, 550 or whatever.
Yeah, it's just unfucking believable, man. Not necessarily the fault of the people implementing those changes or whatever, but to some degree that
the people who chose
got what it deserved in terms of like being very
the macro
unaccommodating
everything about
on purpose. Yeah. Like because there's other like there's still the other stuff we talked about before of like how they never created proper onboarding in the last like 5 years of that game or whatever. So there's certainly other like objectively wrong decisions where they just didn't allocate resources well, but in terms of like they truly did in that like last year or so, especially at the early part of it, try to squeeze every drop of blood from the stone that was the player base that they could.
I have finished the Edge of Fate campaign, and that was one of the worst experiences in Destiny 2 I've ever had. Lightfall was better crafted and paced. which like most of that was just kind of like overly cringy and being like really weirdly like standoffish about the whole Strand thing, like, and that was just because of a like very last minute pivot to like eke out another final season or whatever for Final Shape or final year, whatever. And like I even played like, because I technically started in Forsaken, but before I did the Forsaken campaign I did all the year one campaigns, and like obviously I didn't have the like at the moment vibes of them because there was so much other stuff and so many other changes that had been made to the game since they had been released. But like all of those were better. Like Osiris was better than it. Warmind was better than it. Like just as a story piece of content with like, because that the last boss of that campaign, the Archon or whatever, like what a like that was such a weird fight, and it was like so anticlimactic, and like there were like 3 different villains, and the only reason that like the conductor was there was just for the raid. She had literally nothing else to do with everything, and like 30 different parties are like acting all at once, and it was just like, what are we even doing? They dropped all 9 of the 9 on us at once, and apparently they're all individuals that might be tied to all the celestial bodies in the solar system. Like, but they don't tell you that. Like, I know it's in the lore books, and like I personally like reading all the entries of a lore book once I have them all, unless it's like something like when it was more spread out, like over like on like a weekly basis, I was getting something with like the campaigns, I was reading them like actively, but like I had to really force myself to finish that, and I've never had to do that with a Destiny. We beat Lightfall in a single evening, you, me, and Josh. Like, it took us a while because the servers were kind of bunk, what they always are, but like not at one point did we like, oh, we need to set this down. Like I had to, I would play like an hour and be like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's the story of, again, a lot of the stuff in the games industry at large, of like there's so many experiences of that caliber.
Yeah.
Or man, this shit is so mediocre. I can't imagine why anyone would care if it exists or not.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, that's
still
just
my
like,
opinions of having not played the Star Fox thing on Switch 2. I don't know, man. It still frustrates me, but there is a part of me that like it's a Star Fox game, like the fucking Green Goblin mask or like Cloaked Kermit, just like it's a Star Fox game. You have to play it.
It's there. You can check it out anytime.
No.
So if you want,
but it bums me out because I don't like looking at what they did to my boy, my son, and his friends.
Yeah, that might be the Moana live action of video games right now.
That thing's tanking pretty bad from what I've seen.
But yeah, and then the Xbox stuff is even weirder because I think there was 3,200 layoffs and the divestment. I wasn't clear. I guess it doesn't really matter because at some point when the number is that large, like who even cares?
Do you know?
I wasn't sure if that number includes the studios they spun off or not.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I'm not sure.
Is a layoff the same as like just them leaving the company? When they're like,
it's definitely not the same.
The company is like shunting studios, basically not shutting them down
in practice, but in terms of that reported like headcount, consolidation or whatever, I'm not 100% sure whether that number is people who got like pink slips and are no longer getting money
employed, or people who are part of a company
who are
still,
just
but the company
not
is
part
not,
of the Xbox division, but still technically working at their own studios that have now been spun out of the Xbox ecosystem.
Guess maybe we shouldn't have bought every single company that ever existed.
Yeah, which again, and that's another like, I'm sure everybody, because that it was Double Fine and I think Ninja Theory and like all those guys that like
Iron something. Was there an Iron?
Yeah, that might be right. I'd have to go look at the list, but it was like 4 or 5 studios that. It was rumored that they were just going to shutter them, and in all those cases where they were slightly more independent, kind of like little arms of the company, they're all kind of like doing their own thing now, which again is good and bad. It's certainly better in the short term than getting laid off, and it's probably better in the long term for the game industry if they're able to hack it to just still have more
studios
spread out. To go back to even a tiny bit, like you said, to where we were pre all those acquisitions, where like, because this is what happens when Xbox controls like 30% of the game industry, whatever astronomical number of like headcount they ended up absorbing.
They're going to get 1 billion daily users. Didn't you hear about that?
Yeah, whatever.
They're working. That's the goal. That is what they're going to get. 1 billion daily users of Xbox.
A made up number that sounds
fucking
good
morons.
Good on a press release or in like an email or whatever to your boss, but. Yeah, so
Let's get rid of the C-suite. Let's
it's
just
good
all
that,
C-suite.
yeah, it's
just get them
good
out of here.
that some of the game industry is like re-diversifying, and again, we'll see if any
Nature's
or
fucking
all of
healing.
those studios are able to hack it in like the medium to long
I
term.
hope
I
so.
sure hope so.
I mean, they're getting shat out into a much worse general economy environment than
it's
what they
right,
were like
it's the,
sucked up in. So who knows?
just the odds are stacked against everybody, kind of right now. So
I'm assuming Double Fine's still in San Francisco, which like God knows what it costs to have a office building in there.
But
Ugh.
yeah, but that was like, again, we've been watching that and that Double Fine documentary, the Psych Odyssey thing, and Fits and Starts because we just got the Blu-ray from PAX.
Yeah,
but then
and we're like, let's just watch it again.
we're dipping
but
more back in as like the
we're definitely like
the fears were brewing.
sneaking our way closer to the episode with the Xbox acquisition, and like, God, that meeting is so painful.
Yeah, it's just wild, man. But and again, like I think every single portion of that company got hit with layoffs to some degree, and some of those teams again that like. Yeah, in the same way that they cut the Hi-Fi Rush guys loose, and then again they had a similar situation where like it was a little more like last minute, where they were gonna like shit can that studio, and then I think at the very last moment, I forget who acquired them, but somebody stepped in and was like, no, we'll take those guys off your hands. They made a good thing. But like studios like that you wouldn't have necessarily expected. Like I think id lost, those are the Doom guys. They lost like 60% of their workforce. I think the rough numbers I saw were like from like 150-ish down to like 50 something.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy to me because of those games. I only played the first one. I haven't played any of the sequels, but they seemed relatively well received.
Yeah.
If they were made with that many people, that seems like a pretty healthy headcount to me.
Yeah.
For like as opposed to like again when people are talking about like Bungie has 1,000+ people, or like these some of these modern Assassin's Creed games are in like the 4-digit numbers of like staff. Like I get why you would want to downsize from projects like that with that many bodies on it, but if you're making games like of the rough approximate quality of like Doom Eternal or whatever with like 150 people, I don't know, that seems extremely reasonable to me in terms of like
Bethesda got hit pretty hard too, didn't it? Like
yeah, I think just every portion and they were technically, I believe they fall under like the ZeniMax Bethesda, like under that gigantic family tree.
Yeah.
Of like I think that was how they got acquired, because they were in the Bethesda ZeniMax family that when Xbox acquired that whole chunk of the business. Which again, I have nothing but sympathy for any individual person who's laid off. But like, but boy, if anybody did deserve to get laid off from like what their output was, it would have been anybody who worked on like Starfield and all that dog shit. My patience have been like on thin ice since probably like post Fallout 3, just personally, for like Bethesda products and how crummy they are.
I mean, how many more times can we release Skyrim before Elder Scrolls 6 actually comes out?
Yeah, but as a fan, I don't know, I might be the most like PC centric studio hater around. I could mostly care less what happens to Blizzard and most of their products. Like Hearthstone is the thing of theirs that I played the most. I could mostly care less about what happens to any of the things that Bethesda's ever made. I played Oblivion and liked it. I played Fallout 3 and liked it at the time, and that's about it. But yeah, man, that product, like Skyrim is just, or not Skyrim, but Starfield is just, good lord, like what a embarrassment. Like that's a game I would be ashamed to like have put my name on and been like, yeah, this is what we intended to release. Here it is. Enjoy.
For you, I made this.
Like just a quintessential example of like an aggressively mediocre product.
Hell yeah.
But again, I'm not glad that the people who made it now are no longer making a living. But compared to some of these other layoffs, I certainly, in relative terms, understand.
Yeah.
Like the expectations versus the reality of that product. Again, in a similar way to Destiny to some degree, right?
But in Destiny's case, like the people who made those decisions likely aren't the ones getting axed. It's the people who carried out the decisions that were made over their heads.
Yeah. And I don't know if like Todd Howard's the guy there. Like they in a very like marketing way, they still have kind of positioned him that way. But whoever is in charge of that game, what a fucking disaster. And again, it's like they promised and did exactly like the No Man's Sky thing, but even worse because that game had a way bigger budget and way higher expectations, and then they did the opposite of the No Man's Sky thing, and like where they kind of eventually made good and made that game like a quality product at some point that people wanted to interact with. To my understanding, Starfield has had like 1 or 2 extremely mediocre expansions, and like that haven't really moved the needle on people's expectations or interest in that product. And I'm just like I can't imagine what they would do that is useful. I think they're moving Fallout back to like the Fallout franchise back to like Obsidian now, which is interesting.
I saw that, yeah.
Because they made New Vegas, right? So like I think that's the case, or at least if not that studio in name, then like people there made like the one modern Fallout thing that is like universally acclaimed by at least like people in general, as far as I can tell. Again, I never actually played New Vegas. Maybe I should. I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming it's probably partially because of the goodwill from the TV show, like. The Fallout brand is still clearly of value.
That's a completely unforced error to me. That like, so I don't know who's making that decision, but that's like an unforced error that like an executive should have been able to make, right? Like, because on the one hand, there's all this stupid bullshit of like just like trend chasing and like aggressively targeting the most predatory like monetization.
Yeah,
like that stuff. I staunchly disagree with it, but I understand why they're doing it. But like, I feel like making a new Fallout game that is going to line up with the release of this TV show. Like could have worked for everybody, right? And they just didn't do it. Like they didn't greenlight a project. Like somebody, they should have greenlight a project the next day after they inked that deal with Amazon and were like, we're gonna make this Fallout television series, like this prestige TV thing. Somebody should have been like assigned to it hours later. Like, all right, we're gonna spin up a new Fallout game. And the fact that they're doing that now is just like what a bizarre decision.
Yeah.
Like from management.
Striking while the iron is like lukewarm.
Yeah, and again, that might have been one of those. Like my guess would be that was one of those. Somewhat potentially well-meaning, well, we don't want to step on people's toes at Bethesda or whatever if they don't want to just hand this franchise over to any old person. And again, I don't remember what Obsidian, when they were probably working on the Outer Worlds or something. They were probably had something else in their queue anyway. And like, you know, Bethesda's making Elder Scrolls 7 or whatever the fuck. It's 6.
It's
Elder Scrolls some number that'll come out someday maybe.
Allegedly. I keep seeing stuff about how like Todd Howard or whoever, like his PR somewhere else has been quoted like, yeah, we announced that way too early. I'm like, yeah, no shit. It's been like, what?
Also, that's a franchise that I feel like the Elder Scrolls franchise is like super on thin ice because it doesn't really have like a, like Fallout's kind of got its thing that like I would say the closest game that competes to Fallout in terms of vibe are like the BioShocks and the equivalents of that, where it's like feels like a very cohesive
steampunkish kind of like
relatively
grungy.
Uncommon total world setting for a thing. And Elder Scrolls games are just so aggressively, here's some fantasy for you. Enjoy some vanilla with fantasy on the side. like I can't think of a single thing like, oh, what the special thing about Skyrim was that it's got dragons. Like, oh,
I
okay.
think so. I don't know.
Dragons are cool, I guess, and they also are plentiful. Like, they can be found in any fantasy, anything, if you really... Like, there's just nothing about it that seems like,
truly bespoke.
Yeah, the only thing special about the games in hindsight were, like, the scale of them relative to their competitors at the time. And so, like, thinking about, like, what an Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever number it's going to be would be today, and looking at things like Skyrim, where they were absolutely unable to meet the moment... Or not Skyrim, I keep saying Skyrim. Starfield, where they were absolutely unable to meet the moment of like building a thing that was more impressive or at a wider scale than they had done before. They still managed to make a game that felt as small or smaller than stuff they've done in the past, because I know people really didn't like a lot of the procedurally generated stuff and just like how crummy some of the environments were in Starfield specifically. Like when they in that very No Man's Sky way of like, you could go to these millions of planets
there's
or whatever.
An infinite number of planets. And it's like, half of them are literally nothing because when you have a ton of different puzzle pieces to put together, sometimes they end up bad. And by sometimes, I mean most of the time. Yeah.
So like when I look back at something like Oblivion on the Xbox 360, like that game got a ton of traction because it was really widely scoped compared to its contemporaries at the time.
And like now that scope is kind of more commonplace.
Yeah, there's plenty of games that have done it and done it well, and so that's not going to be a selling point in any way. Yeah, I don't know. I could absolutely see that game completely falling fucking flat on its face.
Well, and also kind of like GTA, like the gap in time between releases, like people aren't like, if someone like, especially like before when like the GTA games are like kind of coming out,
Mm-hmm.
like that person is having something to consume. Maybe that's the only game they really play.
Yeah.
And it's been so long, and like now if they're gonna do it, like they'll have to drop all this money on like a console or a PC that can run it, which I mean, in this fucking economy, and like they might not even be interested in playing it anymore. Like, oh, okay, like
Yeah, I don't know, because GTA's I think is a little different because again and this will still only be borne out when the product is out, right? Like when people are interaction with it. But I at least think that they like have their like that's why that game's taken a decade to make, right? Is because they have attempted to scope that game to people's expectations of like, oh, it's gonna still have this whole story and like this big expansive world you can wander around in and like all this stuff you can do in GTA Online. But again, that stuff like we'll see. That may or may not be true.
both of those franchises have like pooped out an online mode of their games. There's the Elder Scrolls Online and GTA Online in the absence of making a new entry in the series.
Sure.
I don't know, I just the thought just crossed my mind.
Yeah, but it's
Fascinating.
So yeah, we'll see. I do think that'll be GTA might be a little more of an exception to the rule because again, they haven't necessarily communicated that they're gonna like pull back from the scope of things like in GTA 5 or whatever, for example. Like I feel like they're trying to go above and beyond. That may or may not have happened by the time that it comes out. We'll
Does it
find
actually
out,
have a date again, or?
Yeah, I think it's coming out later this year, like in October, November, or something like
Okay.
that. I don't really care. I haven't kept track of it because I'm not gonna play it. It's just not my thing.
I mean, every now and then I just see like, oh, the date's been moved,
Oh.
and I haven't really been paying that.
Yeah, I
much
think it's coming out
attention.
at the end of this year,
Allegedly.
like for real, finally.
We'll see. We'll see
But
when that fucking empty game case hits shelves.
right, yeah. Yeah, and I forgot about that. That happened the last time I recorded. Both the GTA, it was kind of like the predecessor to the PlayStation.
Seriously.
like a 1-2 punch on that front for sure.
No more discs on PlayStation.
And again, I think that kind of remains to be seen what's going to happen with all that stuff. I do think that's a very interesting. In a now that like the honeymoon period is well and truly over for the Nintendo Switch. I think if Nintendo wanted to be smart about it, at least from a marketing standpoint, they could really stake their claim on that. Like in
Well, they're
watching
also
that reaction.
like kind of halfway putting their foot in the other direction of like the game keys,
but
the cheaper digital sales.
I'm saying
like,
now they could pivot away from that.
They're not going
potentially.
to.
I think you're right. I think
they've never been people to like what is the word? Like profitize, I guess, on like other companies' failings. They're so like head down scoped in their own little sand garden that they don't
you're totally
pay
right.
attention
That,
to anything
Nintendo
else.
is not a very reactive company in terms of what their competition is doing. I would say that is very accurate. So you're probably right. Nothing will probably come up. But I'm just saying that the infrastructure is in place, considering that they kind of have their own, like they have their own proprietary like hardware, right?
Yeah.
That still is built to use these little proprietary cards that are like all the infrastructure is there for if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to double down on physical stuff. At least more in marketing than anything, and be like, all right, well, we're not going to do GameCube cards anymore. We're going to do everything that's going to come out from X date is going to be on the cartridge. And this is the platform you want if you want physical games. Like we're kind of the last man standing because I guess you could argue that Xbox could also make that like zig where PlayStation zags, but I doubt that even more.
Yeah.
Like the idea that Microsoft is gonna.
How can they reach $1 billion if they have to sell physical things?
That doesn't seem particularly likely. I assume they're gonna lockstep follow with PlayStation, just like at whatever point they feel like actually announcing it. Like again, I don't know why they talk about it before they're gonna announce new hardware.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of interesting, and again, that was like. I wonder if the reaction would have been just as severe if Sony had waited until like announcing this with the PlayStation 6 will not have discs and there will not be discs, as opposed to the PlayStation 5 is continuing and it will now not have discs. Like I do think people would have like reacted slightly less negatively if it had been a clean generational break.
But I still don't think people would have been like super happy about it.
No. But again, that's more psychologically than anything.
Yeah.
Just like I think people would have felt slightly on the whole, people would have felt less negatively about it. But
because in this framing, they're taking away something you could have.
Yes, right, exactly. Like
and in the others, they're not even giving it to you to begin with.
It is just fractionally easier to spin as like the gradual march of progress if it is from one piece of hardware to a new. Bespoke different piece of hardware. Because
they announced that like they launched with 2 different PS5s, the disc version and the non-disc version.
Yeah.
So the next one just like, oh, there's just one because it's just easier. Like RAM's really expensive, and like this is a cheaper model.
Yeah.
when it's still astronomically more expensive than any other game console you've ever seen.
And again, I
don't freaking know about video games anymore,
I don't
man.
know about video games right now. Yeah, it's pretty nutty. But it's going to be a wild time in the game
Already
industry.
is.
It's going to continue to be insane. And like you said, the world's economic situation is probably not going to be in great shape in the not too distant future.
Can't imagine why it wouldn't be.
Very interesting things happening.
Woo.
Interesting derogatory.
Like 3 different footnote notations next to it.
Yeah.
Like
So yeah, we'll see. But I guess we're gonna keep our eye on stuff, and for the most part, we're just gonna keep trucking along doing our thing. The last thing I'll close on again, digest all the negativity, and then try to close on something hopeful. Is that I have seen much more, on average. Again, it's not as high as it needs to be, but it's getting higher. Much more on average, just negative sentiment from developers about the structure of the game industry right now, in terms of like, yeah, we should take unionization more seriously.
Good.
This is a path we should go down. It's nowhere near the critical mass that it needs to be, but I have seen more of it than past. Like again, I feel like 10 or 20 years from now, for the most part, people would have just taken the shit on the chin. But I think it's just been so many so quickly.
I mean, yeah,
like,
it's
the
like
volume has been so aggressive.
Every like quarter almost, it's
Yeah.
another like now reaching like double-digit percentage of people getting fired.
Yeah,
from
right.
across the board.
Yeah, I just think it is so undeniable how fucked up it is that it has happened so consistently for over this like relative like year or two. There's just been such a high volume of
I don't know if
liquidation.
it's just because I'm more like in tune with this industry because I'm in it, or if it's just more of like a kind of tech specific thing. I don't see this happening in other industries.
That's a good question. I don't know. I couldn't speak to that honestly because I'm not sure. Like I'm sure some similar things, if they're not happening right at this moment, have happened in like other entertainment mediums. But again,
a lot of those other entertainment things are unionized. Is what I was getting at. Like,
yeah, like and again, that's another thing where like I know Netflix has pushed back on that of trying to like work around stuff like that to whatever degree they can. Like so, the company is like attempting to change those industries. They're trying to do that, but it's like that's all you can do is like your only potential slight defense is to have solidarity. So hopefully we get there.
Bosses are not your friends.
Hopefully that would
unionize your workplace.
That would be my dream for the game industry, right? And the salaried industry is to get to the point where like an overwhelming margin of people, not even a majority, but like if the game industry could get like to 15-20% union headcount, like by volume, that would be fucking incredible. But I guess we'll see. Talk to your coworkers about unionizing.
Unionize your workplace.
Your bosses will never have your back. It just like I don't know how many times you have to see. Do we have to teach you this lesson, random employees?
Yeah.
But there's nobody in your corner but each other. So
talk about your salaries. Talk about things at work.
But that's again, just like watching little bits of that sentiment percolate more and more. It's a start.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah. With all that said, I think we will call it a show for the moment.
Woo!
As I said before, if you want to help us out, you can search for Super Cucumber on Steam and wishlist it. That would be very much appreciated. If you want to click the Discord link on that Steam page, you can jump into our Discord server and get updates of the near to medium future as we continue to roll on to PAX West in about a month and change here. You can follow this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most places podcasts are found. If you have a game you'd like us to check out, we like checking out indie games when we can find the time. Email it to us at podcast@cubicorngames.com. And I think that's pretty much all the things.
Woo!
So thank you, Lorraine, for joining me, as always.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you out there for listening. Stay safe out there.
Yep.
Unionize your workplace.
Unionize your freaking workplace.
And we will be back with more podcasts at some point in the future.
Bye!